What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning into my channel. My name is Simon Hill. If you're new here, please hit the like button and subscribe. If you're an old listener or somebody who's seen my videos in the past, thank you for tuning back in. Leave a comment, like, everything. So let's get to it. My name is Simon. Like I said, I've been documenting my experiences as a Black American abroad, traveling, making videos about that. In this one, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to document my experience backpacking from Istanbul, Turkey, all the way to Batumi, Georgia. And this happened in 2022 in early March. So let me give you some background. As you see here, this is my girlfriend. Her name is Dennis. She's 24. We met while I was living in Belgrade, Serbia in 2021 in July. And then a few months later in October, she had to come finish her undergraduate degree in psychology. So I came to Istanbul to live with her while I work as an online English teacher, which is my career, an ESL teacher. I really love my job. I really love what I do. As you can see, we're walking towards the bus station. We're going to be taking a 20-hour bus ride all the way from Istanbul, Turkey to Georgia, which is a small country in Asia, some say Europe, right below Russia. She pointed earlier at Kiev, all right, and there's a reason for that. So I overstayed my Turkish visa. Now, for any American who's going to travel to Turkey, you need to apply for a tourist visa, which you can get online for roughly, if I can remember right, I don't remember the price, about $50 or so. Yeah, you can apply online for your tourist visa, and that visa only allows you to stay in Turkey for 30 days. But when you print the document, it says that the visa expires about 180 days. So as an American, I'm usually not used to getting visas. I know I say this with privilege, but actually, and if I'm being honest, traveling to Turkey was the first time I ever had to get a visa to go somewhere. I overstayed my visa because of the confusion with the paperwork. And because of that, we're leaving in March, in early March. Originally, we planned to go to Odessa, which is in Ukraine, which is not far from Turkey. Her and I were going to go together, but our flight was on March 2nd, right? And then in late February, President Putin had some other plans. We send our thoughts and prayers to the people of Ukraine, of course, and it's a horrible tragedy what's happening. But I was really looking forward to that trip, but I still had to leave Turkey. So I was on my computer one day looking at different flights, and my girl said, why don't we just take a bus to Batumi? Let's do it tomorrow. She said this like on March 1st, and I was like, let's do it, bet. And so, the next thing we know, we bought our tickets online. The tickets were very cheap for two people to travel. Each ticket was about $45 from Istanbul to Batumi. All right, for Americans, you don't need a visa to enter Georgia. We can actually stay in Georgia for up to 1 year. Turkish people do need to pay an exit visa, which is a few lira, I think around 100 or so. Forgive me if I forget the numbers. I'm trying to make this video freestyling just from memory. Anyway, we're taking the bus. The bus is relatively clean. It's okay. Our seats did not, my seats, that I was sitting in that we paid for was not working. So we had to switch seats. This is my girl right here showing a map of Istanbul. She actually has distant relatives from Georgia. Her family came from there, descended from there, I believe on her father's side, pardon, a few generations ago. Anyway, we were traveling. The bus made several stops, which made the journey much longer, a 20-hour journey, but we stopped at several different locations along the Black Sea region on the coast to stop for food, stop to use the bathroom. I believe every, 4 or 5 hours or so, the bus made a stop to let people, use the bathroom, get coffee, eat. The Black Sea region and traveling along the northern coast of Turkey is really beautiful. Really love looking at the water. these guys here actually transported a four-wheeler under the bus. And when they got out, these old guys started rolling. I swear, Turkish people are a bit crazy. This is one of the stops that we went to. Turkish people, you can tell me where this is. We're getting extra close to Batumi, and then you could see it from the window. It's right on the coast. This part is not in the video, but because I overstayed my Turkish visa, I had to pay around 2,000 Turkish lira at the time of recording. That's around 100 and something US dollars, 150 I would assume, if I remember right. So anybody that overstays your Turkish visa, they're just going to ask you to pay a fee, and then if you re-enter, you have to get a residency permit. All right. When I entered into Georgia, I did feel some hostility from Border Patrol. The man automatically walked up to me, and when several other people were going to have their passports checked, one of the police officers began asking for my papers and stuff like that. But that's just regular international black travel racism. So you can expect that when you come to Georgia. Georgia has close ties to Europe. That's why you saw the European flag flying along with the Georgian flag when we landed. When we made it to the bus station on the other side, the bus that we came with did not actually take us to Batumi. There were several taxi guys there who were harassing us. Not harassing us, but you know how it is when you go to usually a developing country and you land at the airport or the bus station. The taxi guys are there, trying to oversell you. He was asking us for 20 Georgian lari to drive us from the bus station to central Batumi. Georgian people in the comments, you can tell us if that's a fair amount or not. I didn't think so. So we ended up taking the bus. We got a bus card, but then the bus card didn't work with the type of bus we took. We made it to our hotel. We stayed at Hotel Absolute. It was hard to find. It was right above a grocery store named Absolute as well. Maybe it's owned by the same company. When we went in there, basically the woman just saw us and just let us in. There was no real check-in process. I don't know if we're one of the few guests. We're traveling in early March, so I assume in winter not many people are, passing through to the Black Sea region because it gets very cold. Hotel room was relatively clean. It was a one-room studio. The good thing about staying at this hotel, like I said, it's right above a grocery store called Absolute, and in there you can find everything relatively cheap. Georgia is famous for their pastries and their food, so you saw the food that we were eating earlier. Georgian TV or media is pretty interesting. I really like the Georgian script. I always have a weak spot for non-Latin scripts, so I find them very cool and interesting. That's why I studied Arabic for so long and why I dabble a little bit in Serbian. If you turn on Georgian TV, you'll find a lot of channels in Russian and in Georgian. That's because Georgia has a large Russian population. At the hotel, they made us breakfast every morning just like this. They put the plates out. The food was cold. I assume the food came from the grocery store downstairs. So these are probably the pastries and other food items that they made yesterday that they didn't sell. It was still good, very fresh, very delicious, very sweet, a lot of different types of flavors. This is a chocolate pastry. She's about to dip it in honey. Guys, don't kill her. But yeah, every morning breakfast was really good. I don't really like cold food. They set it out cold. Georgian people in the comments, tell me if you guys eat breakfast cold. Me, I prefer eating something hot in the morning. Coffee, of course. The decor of the hotel was really nice. It was quite empty. As you can see, I think we were one of the few guests here. Of course, it was, early March that we were there. Not many people. It was rainy, very wet and rainy and cold on our first day there. Like I said, we're coming at the tail end of winter, so this is what you could expect if you travel to Georgia at this time of the year. I don't suggest traveling at this time, honestly, because, there's still some stuff to do, but I can almost bet that Georgia is much, much, much better in the summer, spring, or fall. Winter is just not the prime time to be in the northern Black Sea region. as you're going to see later, it gets really muddy, our shoes get wet, it starts to hail. I'm not counting this against Georgia. Like, every country has, weather like this. When it comes to the architecture and stuff, you'll notice when you come to Batumi that there are a lot of high rises, a lot of apartment buildings, a lot of hotels, a lot of construction going on. I think they're really going to be investing more and more in the future and making this like a tourist hub, a getaway in the summer. You do see the traces of poverty. I'm not going to bite my tongue. Georgia is a developing country. So you do see that, the standard of living is a bit lower than other European countries. I would compare it similar to a country like North Macedonia or the outskirts, any part of Serbia that's not Belgrade, I guess. Georgia is like a poorer European-esque country. But generally, you also have, beautiful things here. You have luxury here too. We had to hide from the hail. Now we hid under this little shack thing. I don't know what they sell here or what the purpose of this building was, but it was broken down. As you can see, it's hailing. That's how cold it was. And we are soaking wet. The hail was coming down only for a short amount of time. We're going to walk to the Black Sea because I really wanted to see the sea. Now, you guys, I'm from Monroe, Louisiana. And if nobody knows where Monroe, Louisiana is, I don't blame you. It's a small town in North Louisiana in the south of the US. And I never thought that I would have the opportunity to travel and see so much of the world as I do. And I'm thankful for that every day. And here I really wanted to see the Black Sea because I remember being in middle school and high school looking at the map and thinking, wow, all of these regions, I'll probably never get to see them or never get to be near them. And as little as it might be for a Georgian person or Turkish person, a Russian person to look at the Black Sea, for me, it's an amazing thing because there's so much history here. And the Black Sea is what a lot of people have, fought and died over to control because it is an important geostrategic point in the world. If you come to Batumi, the beaches are not sandy. This is not the place to dig your toes in the sand. The beach is all rocks. Now, I don't know if all Black Sea beaches are like this. The ones in Turkey that I saw are like this too. So I don't think there's sand around the Black Sea. We go into Batumi Mall after suffering out in the cold to warm our bodies up. We were squishing, like our shoes were just soaking wet. And we were just squishing through the mall. But we wanted to get some footage and show you some of the fashion. So what I noticed about Georgian fashion is that it is quite colorful. Coming from Turkey, people like to wear black a lot. People like to just dress down. I don't know if that comes from the culture or because of, Islam, where you're not supposed to drag attention to yourself and be modest. I don't know. But when you come to Georgia and you look at the fashion, what people wear and what they have for sale, you do notice it's a bit colorful, a bit exciting for the eyes. I appreciate color when I dress up. I'm starting to get into fashion more and caring a little bit about my appearance and developing my style. And looking at the clothes. When it comes to the prices, everything, I would not say, it is not cheaper than Turkey, okay? So we exchanged money earlier, and 1,000 Turkish lira got us around 300 lari. And 300 lari is a good amount. You can have fun with that. You can do some shopping, But I'm going to actually go buy a scarf in this store right here, Avantadil, I'll show the card, Avantandil, yeah. I went here and bought this scarf, and I believe it was about 120 lari, okay? Now, I know this mall might be a more upscale, chic mall, so things here might be a bit more pricey, and maybe there's a more cost-friendly shopping option in Batumi, but this is one of the prime places we shopped. My girl is really into self-care, skin cream, lotions, that sort of thing. So I bought her one of those. I think it was a face cream. I like jackets. My favorite color is purple, and I saw this purple jacket and I really wanted to try it out. Now, for black travelers, you should know that, Georgia is pretty white. So, black man walking into a department store, I did get the feeling that they were following me around, watching me, that sort of thing. We can see the workers here. I felt like they were always tailing me. That does not come from a sense of paranoia. Looking at this video, I think we look like tourists pretty much. I don't think we would travel this far to come and steal, but anyway, that's just my experience. I wanted to get this jacket, but I ended up getting another shirt, a Champs shirt that was really colorful and cool. And yeah, the shoe options here were cool. As you can see, the quality of the stuff doesn't look that bad. I'm not sure of this brand, but you can come to Georgia and actually do some decent shopping if you're really into that. I would say if you could do something with, I would say around $200 or so. You can pick up some really nice stuff, maybe even less, $100. At this mall, there was also a petting zoo. So we spent a few dollars. I think it was only around $5 to enter. And we started feeding these animals. Here we have some rabbits, gerbils, and hamsters. I'm in there feeding them. When I was younger, I had a pet hamster. Actually, I didn't have it. My brother had it. He was in charge of it. I'm more of a dog person. Anyway, we had a pet hamster. His name was Thurston, and he died after a year. And so I always have a love for hamsters. I also found out that some people eat guinea pigs and hamsters in certain parts of the world. I don't blame them. Anyway, these animals were really cute. I do feel a little bit bad every time I go to a zoo because I don't think people treat animals very well in zoos, and I think it might be a bit unethical in my opinion. But this was a cool experience. Here's a parakeet here. And Georgia, I know there's more to see in Georgia, so guys, don't kill me in the comments yet. We're gonna get to some more interesting stuff. But if you come to the Batumi Mall, I suggest feeding the animals here. Show them a little love. The animals looked really hungry, and they're in these small cages as well. Zoos are a bit, yeah, I can see it now. Zoos are unethical. But this was a cool, cute monkey. I don't think I've ever seen a monkey like that before, or animals like this. I don't know exactly what these are called. They remind me of raccoons, and we'll get to that later. But these animals are cute. I really like their eyes and their tails. I wonder where they're indigenous to. If anybody knows in the comments, let us know. But so far, I was having a great time in Georgia, and this was on our second day there, okay? And on our second day, I was just having a great time. Usually in my day, I have a few English classes to teach. I teach a few people for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then I have the rest of the day to kind of do whatever I want. So usually on a day like this, I would, either work out or travel or, play my guitar, something like that. And on this day, we're out here feeding animals in a petting zoo in Georgia. I did kind of get this feeling too, that the people here were very curious about who we were. And yeah, now we come to these raccoons. Now, I am not a fan of raccoons, and here I am talking slanderous about these raccoons. Now, coming from Louisiana, we are very familiar with raccoons and how devilish and conniving and mischievous they can be. I remember once raccoons broke into our garage and opened up the trash can and started digging through the trash can and knocked it down. My brother and I used to shoot them with BB guns. Here's a cool little monkey I found. I wonder what type of monkey this is. Or if it's definitely a type of monkey. But it has really cool colors. And he was really cute, but he is not a fan of lettuce, as you'll see. He's more of a fruitarian, if you will. Yeah, I tried to feed him lettuce. He is not with it. He threw it down and he wanted something else. Yeah. Moving on, we're going to look at some other animals. We have an iguana there. And then we come to the chickens and goats. Now, like I said, I'm from Louisiana, but I am not from a farm. So I am not very familiar with animals. So you can forgive me if I was a bit hesitant or scared to deal with this guy. I don't know if goats bite or not, but this goat was quite aggressive and he was quite hungry. And while I was feeding him, I kept thinking, you know, are these people really taking care of these animals? Because I don't know if a goat is always hungry like this, but he seemed like he was starving. He looked like he really wanted some food. Every time I tried to feed the other sheep, as you see, there's a sheep there, this goat kept on trying to get in the way. Either way, goats are delicious. Sheep is delicious. One of my favorite types of meat. The animals were really cute. My girl is over here feeding them. She's not from a farm either. She's not really familiar with dealing with animals. That's why she's a bit scared to touch them too. This goat was super aggressive. Just the hungriest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, he could not get enough no matter what we did. So we're almost out of here. Almost out of here. Yeah, we have a few more animals that we looked at. I really suggest going to the Batumi Mall. Have some fun, do some shopping there. Here we are back out in the streets of Batumi, looking around. Okay. I have more footage of this first cold day than I do of the sunny day that comes next. When you're in Batumi and you're walking around, you'll notice that the streets are relatively clean. It's not super dirty in Batumi. Okay, by the way, I think Batumi is the second largest city in Georgia. Tbilisi is the capital and the largest. I believe Batumi has a population of only a few 100,000 and maybe more in the summertime when they have a lot of tourists coming. But it was very wet. I didn't see much trash in the streets. People are just generally going about their day. I didn't see a lot of homeless. I did see, you know, street children, as some people call them, gypsies or Romanis. You do see a lot of bakeries around, and Georgians are famous for their different types of pastries that they make. These were good, but we didn't buy any. We were looking to, but we were so full from breakfast. If you walk on the seaside, they have a very, very long sidewalk that runs along the sea, and you can just walk, I think, almost for about 3 kilometers. We kept going, and we'll come back to that later. Shawarma seems to be a very popular place because every time we walked by, it was very packed. My girl really wanted to eat some Japanese food because I guess in Istanbul, there's not, you know, good Japanese food options available. Me, I'm not a fan of sushi, so I didn't eat sushi. Every time I eat, you know, Chinese food or go into an Asian restaurant, I tend to order the same thing, sweet and sour chicken. It's just my go-to. I do like sake. Sake is a really good drink. Here's the food. It came out really well. They actually packed it up with a lot of meat, and I didn't expect it to be fried, actually. But it was very tasty and crispy. I do dabble in wasabi, and the wasabi kicks my butt a bit later. She's eating with the chopsticks because she's sophisticated. When it came to the price of this, I think we spent around 100 lari, and the US dollar to Georgia at the time of recording was, I think, about 3 to 1. So 1 US dollar got you 3 Georgian lari. Okay, so we had sake, sushi, and sweet and sour chicken. I think the sake is what made it close to 100, but you can do the math about what that is. The food was really good and tasty. I didn't try the sushi though. Woke up the next morning and it was a bright and sunny day. I was a bit hungover because we did buy some Georgian brandy and Georgian wine. I think they call the brandy cha-cha. It was really good. Room a mess. I think it was around 10 a.m. No, it had to be earlier than that. Yeah, it had to be earlier. So I'm going outside. The weather was so temperate, a little bit temperate. I could resist the cold. Because it was sunny, we decided to take the breakfast from last night out onto the balcony. There was nobody else in the dining hall, so we were able to sneakily do this. and move it outside because the weather was actually kind of nice. It was nice enough to have a nice breakfast out on the balcony in the Batumi winter. We have to appreciate these sunny days when they come. As you can see in the background, there is a lot of construction. I'm not sure if those are apartment buildings or if those are hotels. But either way, it seems like in Batumi, there will be a lot of visitors in the future. I jumped on my girl's back and I don't think she appreciated that. Breakfast the next morning was really good. I think this time we microwaved it and got it hotter. Beautiful mountains. I'm not sure if those are the Caucasus Mountains or something else, but breakfast was really good. I always love mountains, and I think I'll always appreciate mountains because coming from Louisiana, it's very flat, and I always have a weak spot for places that have seaside and mountainside. It's just great. So the weather was much better this day. As you can see, it's sunny, not so cold. It did not rain. Still a bit wet outside. And we're about to go explore. We're about to go explore more of the city. By the way, this was my first time in Batumi, but she had been here before once. And in this experience, we're just exploring together. The price of gas in Lari at the time of recording. By the way, this is before sanctions kicked in on Russia. And I would like to know if Georgia gets a lot of its oil or gas from Russia. That would be interesting to know. During the day, Batumi looks much, much nicer. So much cleaner. It reminds me of Miami a bit. Maybe this is the Georgian Miami. I can imagine in the summer this place would be booming. But I can also think maybe the humidity is out of control. I am not a summer guy, actually. I sweat very easily and I do not like it. My girl told me about this upside down house. Apparently it was designed by a Turkish designer who was frustrated by the constraints of modern architecture. So he decided to build a house upside down. The upside down house, I believe, is actually a cafe during the summertime. If you come in the wintertime, a lot of places are closed. And actually, there's a lot of construction going on, so you can't go to a lot of nice places. As you walk along the seaside, you'll see people selling simit, which is like a Turkish pretzel or bagel. You can see the water. There's a Ferris wheel. While we were walking on that pier near the water, some guy approached us and asked us if we wanted to ride on the boat in the Black Sea, and I actually wanted to do it, but he asked for 150 lari. And generally, he just gave the impression to me that he was just trying to, rip us off. And so we walked downtown to look for an ATM and couldn't find it. And then we ended up just telling the guy we don't want to do it. And then we ended up taking the Ferris wheel. Ferris wheel was really cool. I have not been on a Ferris wheel this high in a long time. And when you take this Ferris wheel that's near the water in Batumi, you can really see the entire city, and it's really nice. It's really nice. I highly suggest if you go to Batumi to take that walk by the sea, especially in the summer. You probably have a nice breeze, nice view. You can roller skate. There are places where you can rent scooters and roll down. Georgia is definitely a good place for the budget traveler. If you're a person who's a digital nomad, Georgia is great. The internet, not so good, because at our hotel, the internet did cut off on me. But if you can find a place with a router and you can plug in, Georgia's cheap, generally friendly, good food. The food is not spicy, but it's very savory. That's the Kissing Tower that you saw earlier. The Kissing Tower is a famous place where it looks like two people are kissing. As you go higher in this Ferris wheel, you can see more and more. My girl was asking where we could go to find shisha or nargil. That's the boat of the guy who tried to ask us if we wanted to ride with him. We ended up finding a Turkish restaurant that has nargila, and this is great. Now I love Turkish food, and the hachapuri that Georgia has is really good too. Now, I'm from America, so cheese and bread is just my go-to. I mean, how can you go wrong, right? I grew up on that. So what I like about hachapuri is that it's very filling, and this thing right here, this is enough for two people. This is a good little guilt food. You do feel guilty eating it because it is so buttery, cheesy, and carb loaded, but it's very tasty, very tasty. This is a good uh, guilty pleasure. I like shisha. The Georgian currency is by far the weirdest currency that I've ever seen. And it's weird because of the images and pictures shown on it. Now, there's a picture, as you can see, of a man shooting his own tail with a bow and arrow. Like, what the hell is that? That is just insane. And there's a woman. She looks like she's in slavery. I don't know. It's so weird. But definitely cool colored money. Not like how you go to other countries and they have pictures of, old dead guys. They have women on their currency. They have mythological creatures. When you walk in downtown or center of Batumi, you have a lot of old buildings. Georgia, or Batumi, from what I saw, because I've only been to Batumi, has so many street dogs. If you go to Batumi, watch out for the street dogs. They're everywhere. Now, we weren't attacked by any street dogs. The street dogs didn't bite us, bother us, anything like that. Didn't piss on our leg, but they are everywhere. They'll follow you down the street just like this one. Batumi has a sizable Muslim population, of course, because Turkey is nearby, and also there are many Muslims in the Caucasus. I went into this masjid. Apparently it's around 100 plus years old. My girl saw this thing that dispenses beer. I don't know what this is. Georgian people in the comments, let us know what this is. I saw this and I was so confused. I really wanted to take the cable cars, and to take the cable cars, it was around 60 lari, okay, which is a decent price. Once again, Georgia is for the budget traveler. I really love cable cars. The first time I took cable cars was in Sarajevo in Bosnia, about a year and a half ago. And I really love the serenity of it, the view, the peace. It's really nice. It's really nice. When you take this cable car up to the top, it has a similar thing that you'll see if you go to Sarajevo and take those cable cars. They just have like this building where they serve souvenirs. Well, they sell souvenirs, serve coffee and stuff like that. As you ride the cable cars over Batumi, you see just how big the city is. It looks much bigger from the top. And maybe I was wrong earlier. Maybe there are 1 million people in Batumi. I really should do my research before. But I'm giving you all this from my mind and from my heart and what I feel reminiscing on this situation. Once again, cable cars are really cool. When I think about Georgia and their history a bit and their conflict with Russia, it makes me, pray that this place doesn't end up like Ukraine, that they remain free, that they remain on their own path, because they have their own history. Now, I have some Russian ESL students, and my Russian ESL students all say positive things about Georgia. So I just hope that, the government at least can, leave Georgia alone, let it be free. Anyway, when you look at the top, when you go to the top from the cable cars, you can look down on the city, and you're in this building that has these, binoculars that let you look around. There's a guy who's going to ask us if we want to take a picture. I'm not really with it. We have our camera, we're documenting it. How did this cat get up here? I don't know. But you see how big the city is, how beautiful it is, and it's probably even better in the summertime. And at this building, there's a path you can walk maybe. I don't know how these guys got up here to walk on this path and go hiking. I really love hiking. But really all you can do up here is, look out the view, buy some wine, drink some coffee, and look at the mountains, I guess, if that's what you're into. I wish there was more to do up here, Georgian people in the comments, let me know if there are other things you can do at the top of the cable car ride. But we didn't stay up here for long because, like I said, it's just a view. And then we headed back down later. But this was nice. Quite a few people here. I'm not sure if they're tourists or if they're just other Georgians. Once again, it was clean up there. This is the Armenian Church. If you go to downtown Batumi, it's interesting because you have like a street that's full of Muslims, a street that's full of Armenians, like the Armenian Church. Then you also have a street that's full of like the Russians. And when you're walking in the street, you might hear Turkish or Russian or another language. When it comes to English in Georgia, in my opinion, the people we spoke to had some functional English. I think it's much better than Istanbul or Turkey. When I was in Georgia, generally I could say what I wanted to say, like if I'm talking to the waiter or trying to buy something at the store, and they got my idea. This is a town square or a market square, I believe, and there was a statue of a gold lady that apparently is important. Walking in the streets, this is near center Batumi, and I think this is a more Ritz upscale neighborhood. I think this is called Ajara. And in Ajara, you see just, nicer buildings, people dressed a bit nicer, fancier cars, stuff like that. That, once again, I think that's the back of the Armenian Church. I apologize if I get anything wrong about the location or name of the place. Later on that day, the guy who worked at the hotel, by the way, he was the only person at the hotel that spoke English because he was really cool. I forgot his name. I think it's Mikhail. He explained that the money is actually the sign of Sagittarius, the one of the man eating and shooting his tail. This is our final day in Georgia. I'm asking my girl if she's ready to go. She's putting on her makeup. She looks so gorgeous. She's so cute. Isn't she just the cutest? And we're about to get ready to go and pack. After I show her some love, I make a indecent joke. We're packed up with our backpacks and my guitar, watching Hey Arnold on TV. She's sad about leaving. I'm saying bye to Georgia. Generally, overall, I had a great time in Georgia. It was really cool. I would want to come back to Batumi, maybe under better weather circumstances. When I met my girl, she actually had the backpack, and I didn't have a backpack, and I ended up buying a backpack. Now, I want to say why I like backpacking, because when I was younger, in high school, right, I remember all the white kids went to Europe, like for, advanced Spanish class or French class or English class, right? And I just didn't go. I didn't do it. It always seemed like something rich white kids could do. And now that I'm older and I have the opportunity, I feel like so grateful that I'm able to like backpack and do the things that I want to do and travel and see the world. And I'm so blessed, that I have this life that I have. We ended up walking around the city a bit to make it to the bus station because we're taking the bus back. We actually kind of got lost and there were some issues, but overall we made it. We're walking back to the bus station from our hotel. It was about a 40-minute walk. Here's some more pictures of the city. While we were there, we stumbled across this art museum, the Art Museum of Ajara, right? They told us not to film. I just got a few pictures of some of the art here. I think all of the art here was done by Georgian artists, except for a few sculptures that were upstairs that I think were imported from Italy. The entrance fee was not expensive. I think it was just about, 10 or 20 lari. Maybe we could have got a student discount. I don't know. We look like students. But Georgian art is very interesting, very surreal in a way. I really like this painting. We stumbled across another church. I'm not sure what church this is. I think this is maybe the Armenian Church or another one. My girl went inside to light some candles and take some photos. There were some kids outside begging for money and change. And then they got shooed away by this old lady who sprayed them with water and hit them with a broom. That's sad. If you ever want to, donate and help the children, you should. So I saw this sign. I don't know what it says, I'm not going to lie, but I saw US aid, and I do know that the American government sends millions of dollars to not just Georgia, but countries all over the world. Meanwhile, in America, African Americans are, denied the opportunity to get compensated for chattel slavery. Also, what bothered me about Georgia, you see swastikas and Nazi symbols around the city, and that's probably in opposition to Russia and the Soviet Union, but I will never have any sympathy for white supremacists or neo-Nazis, anything, so fuck those people. Anyway, we made it back to Turkey. Thank you for watching this video. It was about a 3-day trip in Georgia, and I can't wait to come again.